need to remind you guys that we are still producing the wooden toys, and it looks as great as ever. You know, it is really, really, really nice wooden toys that we have here still. Even though the market share compared to the plastic toys are decreasing, but we still have a lot of wooden toys. So let's move again, because we are going to move a little bit further back in the exhibition, and we are going to take a look at these beautiful, colorful things. And also, I just want to point your attention to this photo up here. So, because what happens is that in the 50s, we mid 50s, we start to really see again potential in our plastic brick. And that's because something that we introduced in 1955 when Godfred introduced the Lego system in play. So I'm going to talk about that in just a few seconds. But what also happens because of that, and that continued increased focus on the brick and Lego system in play, is that we start to set up a foreign sales company. The first ever foreign sales company is set up in Germany in 1956. So that's a big step, right? So that's the first time we start to go abroad with as a setting up a sales company. We have exported a little bit before that, but this is the first time we do that, and that is again a testament that we start to really believe that we have something here in the Lego system in play. Because the key thing here is that the sales company in Germany only had one purpose, and that was to sell Lego system in play products in Germany. No wooden toys, none of the other plastic toys. So really big indicator that we are onto something. And now I mentioned it a lot of times, the Lego system in play. Well, what is it? I will try to explain that. It's not easy, but I will try and give it a go. So let's move over here, and I will try to see if I can break it down. So in 1955, Godfred comes up with this idea of creating a system, sort of an ecosystem, where all these plastic elements, they will sort of fit together. And we create this town plan. We are going to take a closer look in just a second. But before that, so what sort of starts all of this is that in 1954, on a ferry ride to or from England, I can never remember which way it was, never mind. But on a ferry, he talks to a toy buyer from a large Danish department store. And this guy, Troels, he is complaining about the toy market. You know, it is a mess. There's no system in anything, you know. A lot of, you buy something, you play with it, you throw it out. You buy something new, you play with that, you throw it out. Nothing fits together, you know. It's really a mess. And this really triggers something in Godfrey, and he really starts, you know, can I create a system? Can I do that? Can I find one of our products that could be such a system? And then he allegedly he puts up all of our products, you know, and more than 200 of them. And he goes through all of them, and he starts to see if there is anything here that can we can create a system out of. And eventually he decides, you know, the brick. We can do that with the brick. And then the year after, we introduce a town plan like this, where you can really start to see that things start to fit together, at least in scale. This is a younger version of the town plan. The original one did not look exactly like this, but it was a little bit different. But this is really when we start to show these kind of new products, going a little bit more away from just basic boxes and basic products, and now we're actually starting to have some specific sort of sets. You could get a gas station for your town environment. So we're really starting to look at very early Lego City before that is even a thing, right? So these products become very, very popular because it's nice to be able to create this environment. And again, because of this new system idea, and I know we're not there yet because you can see a lot of things that are not made out of Lego bricks. The cars, for example. So it's still a work in progress, but we are working our way towards creating this system, and that is something we continually do for the years to come. So this is really a key moment in our history when Godfather creates this sort of ecosystem, and the system is the reason why you don't throw away your old Lego bricks. You keep them, of course, right? Because if you get new bricks, then you just add value to your old bricks. So that's the beauty of creating this system idea, which is the Lego system in play. We are so proud of that idea, which Gottwald introduces here in 1955. And I just have to also mention this fantastic quote that Gottfried he has in 1955 when talking about launching these fantastic products, right? So we have this quote up here, and I'll read it. I don't know how much you can see of it. I think you can, but he says in 1955, our idea has been to create a toy that prepares the child for life, appealing to the child's imagination and developing the creative urge and joy of creation that are the driving forces in every human being. That is huge words, right? It really is. I often joke that you can sort of in the background, right? You can hear the violins, you can hear the cellos playing, all of the string section. It's really huge words, but I love this because this is exactly what we still talk about today. The meaning of that is what we talk about today. Nothing has changed. That is so fantastic. I mean, today, our mission is to inspire and develop the builders of tomorrow. The builders of tomorrow, that's children, right? To create a toy that prepares the child for life. That's the same. In my book, it is at least. I love that. I think that is so nice. So again, this system idea really starts to make us understand we are onto something here. This might be what we need to focus on more from now on. And that leads me to the next thing, which is the big game changer. So let's just move a little bit to this side, because right here we have something equally fantastic. I think some of you might recognize this. This is the front page of our patent for the Lego brick from 1958. So what happens is that in 1958, on the 23rd of January 1958, Gottfried Kirk Christiansen, he has a meeting with the managing director of the sales company in Germany, Axel Thompson. And Axel has some feedback from some of the consumers in Germany who are complaining a little bit about the stability of our bricks. Remember, they were hollow. So a little bit of complaints here, and they start to sort of, can we figure out a way to do something about that? And they come up with a lot of different suggestions, solutions. And I just want to show you this. And I know it's a poor copy, but it is a fantastic photo copy. So we have some drawings here that Gottfried makes. Up here you can see some different solutions. You can see a cross. You can see some tubes in there as well. So they actually come up with what is later, the Lego brick we know today with the tubes, and they come up with a lot of different solutions how to create this clutch power. this is fairly new information to us, something we've dug out recently in our archives, and it's really interesting, because after coming up with these solutions that Gottfried draws on this piece of paper that model builders usually used, that was why it had all these knobs drawn on it. 5 days later, on the 28th of January 1958, we take out the patent for the Lego brick we know today. So it goes very quickly when we start to think about these things. So that's quite amazing to think about. And this is the game changer for us. And of course, I know you guys know what it looks like, but these tubes, they change everything. This is the game changer. Because of these tubes and how they interact with the knobs on top, we really get the stability, and suddenly you can combine your bricks in so many new ways that you could not do before. And I'm sure many of you will know that if we have 6 of these 2x4 bricks with tubes, they can be combined in 915,103,765 different ways. That is why we are so proud of these tubes and this solution. This is when we introduce and create the Lego brick, and this is where we set ourselves apart and our brick apart from all the other plastic bricks out there in the toy market. This really is a game changer for us. That really marks a key point in our history. It cannot be, said enough. It is really a fantastic thing. So coupled with the system idea from 55, these two things combined is so important for us. We all know that today, of course. So let's move a little bit this way. So I have a photo over here, because this is a little bit more on a sadder note, because in 1958, our founder Ole Kirk Christiansen here, he passes away. So this is it happens in March 1958. So he sees us taking out the patent for the Lego brick, but he never sees what comes after that, which is a big shame, because if it wasn't for him, who knows if we ever got there, right? So of course, that would have been great. So one last thing before time runs out, I have another thing I want to show you guys, and it's right over here. So follow me. So looking at this photo, and you might be able to see, I can see some smoke up here. So what happens in 1960 is we have another fire. If you were here the last session, first session a couple of weeks ago, I talked about 3 fires, and now we have one more. And once again, it is the woodworking factory that is heavily damaged by a fire. So this puts Gottfried in a new sort of dilemma, because Gottfried, he needs sort of to figure out, should I spend a lot of money on rebuilding the woodworking factory, or should I instead use the space to set up a development department that could further develop the Lego system in clay and the Lego brick? And looking at the numbers, plastic toys accounts for 75% of the turnover at this point in time, and the 25% is wooden toys. So in that way, it's easy to make that decision, right? But then again, there is sentimental value here in having the material that it all started with, right? So that's the thing here that makes it a little bit difficult for Ole and to make that decision. So that is why that it is a difficult decision. But in the end, Gottfried decides to stop the production of wooden toys, and then we completely focus on the Lego brick and the Lego system in play from then onwards. So that is a key thing here. And then we grow a lot as a company up through the late 50s and early 60s because of that decision. And that was it. That was